Hello and welcome to the in-depth series section of Drishti IAS. I'm Aisha, and in today's episode we will be discussing about the topic of the Honorable Supreme Court of India has limited the Enforcement Directorate's power to arrest PMLA accused. PMLA stands for the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So the person who is an accused under the PMLA, and in which the Enforcement Directorate gets a lot of power because of the PMLA Act. So the Supreme Court of India has limited the powers of the Enforcement Directorate. An Enforcement Directorate is a body which nowadays remains very much in news, and recently it was in news because of the Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal, arrest in the liquor case. So about the points of discussion, first we'll be looking at the news, then what the Supreme Court of India has said with regard to limiting the powers of the Enforcement Directorate, what has been its decision, then what are the stringent norms of the under the PMLA about the Enforcement Directorate, and in the end the means practice question. Topic is of relevance from General Studies paper 2 and General Studies paper 3, that is money laundering and then the Supreme Court decision. So the news talks about Supreme Court limits Enforcement Directorate's powers to arrest PMLA accused. So under this heading there are many things we need to get into place. Is first is PMLA, ED, powers of ED to arrest a PMLA accused, and what has been the limitations. So these are the things we need to look into. So what has happened recently is that the Honorable Supreme Court of India has flipped the right to personal liberty. So on the ground of the right to personal liberty of a person, the Supreme Court has said that by holding that a person summoned by a designated special court under the PMLA is presumed to be not in custody and need not apply for bail under the draconian conditions posed by the anti-money laundering law. So what happens is, see, I'll tell you the basic thing that why this came into the picture. Now what happens is, there is an Enforcement Directorate which is a body under the Ministry of Finance. Then there is Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So this act prevents the actions of money laundering in our country. Now what happens is, under the PMLA Act, the Enforcement Directorate gets the power to confiscate the property of the accused, to arrest a person or seizure or this arrest. So these are the clauses which the ED gets, and the ED gets its power from the PMLA. Now what happens is, when the ED goes to arrest a person or they issues a summon, so what happens is, then the ED issues a summon to a person, and when the summon is issued, so the summon will only be issued through a court. Then the court comes in the picture. Now what happens is that the Enforcement Directorate has the power to arrest a person, to confiscate property of a person, to do search at the premises of the person. So these are the powers, that few of the powers that ED has. Now the court has said that if after the power of the summon, if the case comes to the court, then the ED will have to take permission from the court to do further investigation. Then ED on its own cannot do everything because the case comes under the court. Now this is what happens. Now let us see that what are the things which has been done. So Supreme Court, on the basis of the right to personal liberty, that right to personal liberty, every person has the right to personal liberty, and has said that by holding that a person summoned by a designated special court under the PMLA. So any person who has been accused and under the PMLA, that is the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, so any person who has been summoned under the PMLA by a special court is presumed not in custody. So any person who has been summoned by the special court under the PMLA Act, that does not mean that the person is in custody. It is presumed to be not in custody. Just because the person has received a summon by a court does not mean that the person is in custody and need not apply for bail. So till that time the person has received a summon by the special court, that does not mean that the person is under custody, and that does not mean that the person will have to apply for the bail. So what happens nowadays under the PMLA is that people opt for anticipatory bail in before time only. So that the court has said that just because a person receives a summon does not mean the person is in custody or the person does not have to apply for a bail. Under the draconian conditions posed by the anti-money laundering law, because under the PMLA there are many stringent norms which needs to be followed. So the court has said that if the accused appears before the special court pursuant to a summon, so if the person or the accused is presented before the court with regard to the summon being given to him or her, it cannot be treated that he is in custody. So that does not mean that the person or the accused is in custody. Therefore, it is not necessary for the accused to apply for bail. In case of summon, person will not be considered in custody and does not have to apply for bail. This is what the Supreme Court has said. Things will get clear to you, because the moment we will move forward in this video, things will be cleared to you. So these are the things which the Supreme Court has said. Now, why the court has said this? What is the base of it? So the judgment was based on an appeal which has been filed by a person against the Enforcement Directorate, and the person has challenged the Punjab and Haryana High Court decision of denying him anticipatory bail. So this is where from where the point or this news came up. So a person, that is Tarseem Lal, so he has filed a case against the Enforcement Directorate and has challenged the Punjab and Haryana High Court decision, because the Punjab and Haryana High Court has denied the person anticipatory bail, and on the denial of the anticipatory bail the person has appealed against it. So this is from where the whole matter started. And now the question. So what has the question that has been raised? That is that whether an accused appearing in the special court pursuant to its summon. So if there is a person who is an accused is presented before the court with regard to the summon being sent to him, can apply for bail under the regular provisions of the Code of Criminal Procedure. So that accused can apply for the bail under the very normal conditions of the Code of Criminal Procedure. So this is the regular case thing which happens. If so, whether such a bail plea would also have to be satisfy the twin conditions imposed by the section 45 of the PMLA. Now what happens is, so I think this is clear that from where the matter started, this thing is clear. Now the question that has been raised with regard to this case is that if a person who is an accused is presented before the special court while the summon has been issued to the person, this is clear, then the person can apply for the bail under the regular provisions of the Code of Criminal Procedure. I think this is also clear. So if under the Code of Criminal Procedure the person can apply for bail, so has the person also apply for the bail under section 45 of the PMLA, and the section 45 of the PMLA has twin conditions. There are two conditions under section 45 of the PMLA. So it is saying that if with regard to the Code of Criminal Procedure bail, has the bail also been applied to satisfy the twin conditions imposed by the section 45 of the PMLA. Now this is the thing, that has the bail plea needs to be applied on both or only in the Code of Criminal Procedure. This is the thing, or this is the question which has been raised. So on this question, the things which the Supreme Court of India has said. So I hope the bases are clear. Now we will again go back to the first slide which we discussed. So on this thing, the court has said that on the basis of right to personal liberty, the court has said that if the special court on the basis of summon, the person has been presented, then the person will not be considered in custody and the person do not have to apply for bail under the PMLA. Now again what the Supreme Court of India has said. So the judgment has limited the powers of arrest by the Directorate of Enforcement, that is ED, after a special court take cognizance of a case. Now this says that if the case comes in the court, then the court will look into the further processes, and the court has limited the power of the arrest by the Enforcement Directorate, and the ED would have to separately apply. Now the Enforcement Directorate will have to separately apply for the custody of a person once he appears in court. So if the person appears in court, see, there are two conditions. One, the person has not appeared in court till the time, then ED can arrest the person, ED can seizure, ED can confiscate the property, then till that time ED will be responsible for things. But if the case, or if the person, or if the accused has been presented in the court, then the court will take further action, and that is when the person is presented in the court, that is when the power of the arrest by the Enforcement Directorate has been limited, and then the Enforcement Directorate will have to separately apply for the custody of the accused if the person has appeared in a court. Then the central agency would have to show specific grounds that necessitated custodial interrogation. So specific grounds also have to be mentioned by the Enforcement Directorate. Then Enforcement Directorate independently and autonomously cannot do things when the person has been presented in court. They have to separately apply for the custody, and they have to give specific grounds also. Then if the accused does not appear after the summon is served, the special court could issue a bailable warrant. For first time, if the person do not come in court after the summon has been issued, the bailable warrant can be issued against the person. But if after the bailable warrant also the person does not come, then the non-bailable warrant can also be issued. Then the judgment, so this we have discussed already. So this is what the Supreme Court of India has said, and all these things have been said on the basis of the right to personal liberty of a person, that the person also have the right to personal liberty, and if the person has appeared in the court, then ED's power to arrest will be limited. They will have to apply for custody separately. Specific ground needs to be provided, and on the first thing, when the summon is issued, bailable warrant, and then bailable warrant will be followed by the non-bailable warrant. Now, what are the stringent norms of the PMLA section 45, which we discussed in the first slide? Wait, see. What is the basis of the court decision that we discussed? So the question which was raised was that whether an accused appearing in the special court to its summons can apply for bail under the regular provisions under the Code of Criminal Procedure, or whether such a bail plea would also have to satisfy the twin conditions imposed by section 45 of the PMLA. Now let's see what are the what are the twin conditions of the section 45 of the PMLA which makes the bail for a person very, very difficult? And why are they called stringent norms? So, section 45 of the PMLA talks about two conditions. First, the person has to prove in court, that he or she is prima facie innocent of the offense. So the accused has to prove himself or herself in the court prima facie that he or she is innocent. And second, the accused should be able to convince the judge he would not commit any offense while on bail. So these are the two norms which makes the bail for a accused extremely difficult, and these are the two norms which are called stringent, strict, and very, very difficult to behold, because in the first portion it is the accused who has to prove himself or herself that he or she is innocent, and second, then the accused will have to convince the judge that if the accused will go out on bail, he or she will not commit any crime. Then the burden of proof will be entirely on the accused, and these two twin conditions makes it impossible for an accused to get bail. So these are the two twin conditions, or you can say the twin draconian conditions of the PMLA. Now about the Enforcement Directorate, ED. So the nodal agency for ED is the Department of Revenue under the Ministry of Finance. So it is the Ministry of Finance. The jurisdiction is nationwide, that is all over India. Focus area is economic and financial offences, money laundering and foreign exchange laws. And the case which we were seeing as of now was of money laundering under the PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Investigative powers, attachment, confiscation, arrest, it can conduct raid and searches, summon, and it can question individuals. Investigation, it has a separate investigation wing, and that is the Economic Offences Division. The headquarters is situated in New Delhi, and the tenure of the director of the ED is up to 5 years. So this was about the Enforcement Directorate. So I hope things are clear now. What the court has said, because this becomes important for you to know, because ED is very much in news. So knowing about the ED is important, the nodal agency, the tenure of the director, what are the powers it has, what is its jurisdiction, these are important things for you to know. And now what the court has said, that the powers of the ED are limited. Now in the end, a mains practice question, and it is a PYQ of the year 2021. So discuss how emerging technologies and globalization, and the command is discuss. Contribute to money laundering, this is the first part. Elaborate measures to tackle the problem of money laundering both at national and international levels. So in this question there are two aspects. First is discuss, second is elaborate. In discuss you have to talk about that how emerging technologies and globalization is contributing towards money laundering, and second part is you have to talk about how it will be controlled. So even though the prelims, I know the prelims is reaching, but because it was a PYQ, that is why I gave it to you, so that you can see that how the questions are coming with regard to these dynamic topics. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Till we meet next time, keep reading, keep writing, and keep subscribing to the channel. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.